Hey everybody, welcome again to yet another episode of the series Empowering the Youth. Please accept my sincere gratitude for joining the session. Today we are going to discuss about a very important question, that is how to build a startup. Interesting, right? Okay, let me introduce myself. My name is Mohit Agarwal, student of Gulzar Group of Institutes and Chief Executive of Engineer Society Circle Arcane-Innovation. And we are with our speaker, Engineer Maurice Adam, founder and CEO, Kosher Stores, Education, Learn Live, India Orders, and Chief Innovating Officer of Arcane Innovation and youngest millionaire in J&K Valley. Let me give a brief introduction about our vision to empowering the youth. Youth empowerment is a process where young people are encouraged to change of their lives. They do things by addressing their situation and then take action in order to improve their access to resources and transform their lives, beliefs, values, and attitudes. Youth empowerment is different from youth development because development is centered on developing individuals, while empowerment is focused on creating greater community change in relies of development individual capacity. I know you all are excited to meet Maurice Adam, who launched his startup which valued 1.1 crores. Let's know everything about his journey. With this, I will hand over the session to Maurice Adam. Maurice Adam, mic is yours. Good luck.
Hello, can anyone hear me?
Yes, Maurice Adam, you are audible.
All right. First of all, thank you, Mohit, and thank you, Arcane Innovation, for having me here. And Mohit, I have a suggestion. Can we give all the participants to permission to unmute themselves so that this session can be more interactive?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, thank you. Done?
Yes.
Okay. First of all, my warmest welcome to everyone who is present here. What I believe, most of you know me. I am your college student, and for those who don't know me, I am Morris Adam. I am a computer science student in my seventh semester right now, and I'm also the CEO and founder of Kosher Store. It's an e-commerce app. I'll get to that after some time. And I am also the chief innovating officer for Arcane Innovation. So you all are here, and we have this topic: how to build a startup. First of all, I'd like to know, uh, can any one of you just explain me, or just a one word answer, like what is a startup? You can write in the chat box if you don't want to unmute yourself, or you have some network issues. Chat box is yours. Yes, exactly. Bandhan Singh says it's a new company. Yes, it is a company. Then how it is different from why do we call it a startup? Why don't we call it a new company? There must be some difference. Parampreet Kaur says newly established businesses. Yes, Parampreet, you're right. It is a newly established business. Yes, of course, you're right. Can we have some more answers, please? And yes, I want to know my language of preference. If you want me to speak in Hindi, I can speak in Hindi. If you want to speak me in English, I can speak in English. You can write in the chat box. Starting point of a business, and in addition with new ideas, says Abdul Kashif Shah. Great. Yes, Kashif, you're right. And Alam says starting point of a business. Yeah. Vishal Kumar says taking somewhat innovative in motion from idea to practical. Okay. So I'll also put my thought on startup in front of you, like you all did. So what is a startup? According to Startup India, we have to follow government regulations and government definitions in some cases. According to Startup India, a startup is an organization which is newly registered, whose turnover is less than 25 crores in a year and is less than 5 years in age. So, considering these 3 points, you define what is a company and what is a startup. So, once you have a turnover of 25 crores above, you cannot call yourself a startup. You are a company then. And once you cross 5 years of age, then you also cannot call yourself a startup. You are a company. So we have over 38 participants here. How many of you are actually, motivated to start a startup or start something of your own? So how many of you have this zeal in yourselves? Like, you want to build something on your own. You want to change the world for a better place. Can we have some answers in the chat box? Yeah, Bandhan Singh, great. Arnish Sharma, if I'm pronouncing that right. Nikki, yes. That's great. That's great, guys. Uh, Raman Ben says me, yes. Anisa Nabi says I. Aditya Kashyap says yes. It's very good. I'm feeling really, enthusiastic right now to see such a great response from you all. Saurabh Gupta says yes. Neelam says yes. Ankit says yes. Me, of course. So, to get straight to the point, this will not be an inspiring webinar. Like, I'm not a motivational speaker. I'm not a person who can inspire you right now. Uh, but this will be a practical session from my experience that I have gained over my 4 5 years of entrepreneurship. Uh, I will tell you 10 points that will help you to build your startup from scratch. By scratch, I mean from the ground, without any investment, to having a valuation, to having to have some assets on your own. Okay. If you are ready, let's just type yes or continue or just type Y. Okay, I have some answers flooding in. Okay, so I started my first startup when I was, I guess, 16 years of my age. I was studying in my 10th class, and what I had a skill that time. Startups usually start with skills. I learned how to make static websites. My cousin gifted me a book. I guess this one. Here it is, Java programming. My cousin gifted me this book, and I was very curious to know that we can develop the software, or we can develop the things that we see on our computers. So I started to learn HTML and start making static websites. Static websites are those where content do not change. The content remains the same throughout, and it's not much you can have on. It's just like a visiting card, or just like a stationary poster, or whatever we can say. So I started this at my 16 years of age. I started to create websites for other businesses, other people, in fact, freelancers, musicians, artists. So that was the start of my entrepreneurship journey. So since then, as Mohit just now said, I have been into multiple ventures. I have tasted educational technology. I have tasted finance, real estate, food, e-commerce, and I have some approach in games. I am yet to come in games. I'll come to games. So, how do we start a startup? What are the 10 basic rules or 10 steps that I have figured out? So let's go point by point, and if you want, you can write those points, or I'll let you know where you can get these points afterwards. So first thing is, you need an idea. Of course, you need an idea to start your startup. So many times you might have heard, like, you need really one in a million idea to start a startup, or you need, the idea must be very unique, or it should not be copied, or it should change the world to a better place, and it should something very unique and something very exciting. But what I say, that's not entirely true. Like, we have Amazon, we have Flipkart, we have Snapdeal, we have Mintra, we have Agio, Kosher Store, that's also an e-commerce, and I guess Alibaba, and we have multiple. I
मैं
cannot
कॉन्फ्रेंस
remember all of them.
में कटता मोड़ होते हैं।
Is there a problem with?
No, no, continue.
Okay. So if the idea must be unique, then how come all these companies are successful? See, it's not really necessary for your idea to be unique or for your idea to be one in a million to be successful or to succeed. So I'm not saying you can just copy the idea of someone, but you can take inspiration from that idea and add a value to that idea and then present it to your people or the people you are targeting to your target audience. Okay. If you understood my point, you can type yes or why. Okay, we have some answers. Okay, so speaking more on idea, see, when I started the e-commerce app, it was back in 2019. What I saw that there was a gap in our ecosystem, specifically for Jammu and Kashmir Valley. We saw there was a gap that, first of all, I'll let you know that other e-commerce giants like Amazon, Flipkart, Snapdeal, they don't work here. Yes, they do deliver, but they don't have that much of vendors, local vendors from here. So I saw this as a gap, as an opportunity to build on. So what you need to do as an entrepreneur to look for ideas, you need to search everywhere. You need to have an eye everywhere so that whenever you find any opportunity, you find a gap, you hit on it. Okay. So coming to the next point, idea is done, idea is over. Coming to the next point, the next point is you need a team, you need people. It's really not necessary, it's an optional one. At the start, when you're starting, it's not necessary that you have a good you have a team, a big team. You don't need to have a big team, but it is good to have a team. Of course, it reduces your workload, it helps you grow more efficiently, and it helps you to divide some work. Okay. So how do you select a good team? uh, Once my mentor Sardar Gurkirat Singh ji, our executive director for Gulzar Group of Institutes, I asked him this question, like, how do we trust our team, or how do we see if my team is going good? He said, numbers don't lie, numbers don't lie, alphabets and words lie. You need to evaluate your team in numbers. So that's why if you want to evaluate your team, you need to use numbers. There are a lot of metrics which help you to analyze how your team is doing and how your team is going with your ideas, or how, if you assign them some any work, like if you want to see how are they doing, or how are they pursuing your work assigned. So you need to use some metrics that are based on numbers. We have a lot of metrics, and at the end of the session, I have a surprise for you all, and I'll send you some links so that you'll be able to get the content and you will know everything about the metrics that I'm speaking about. Okay, so you have the idea and you have a small team. So what you need to do next, you need to combine them and test the waters. This is the third point. You need to test the waters. Test the waters. What does that mean? You need to test the waters. So let's explain this with a story. Okay. So there is a barber, a hairdresser, you can say, who goes to a town where there are bald people. They don't have any hair on their head. So, will his business grow there? I need your answers in the comment box, in the chat box. Sorry. Yeah, Kaur says no. Anisa Nabi says no. Jashandeep Kaur says no. Why will his business not grow? Can I have some answers, explanations here? Oh, Abdul Kashif Shah says beards are also there. Yes, of course, beards are also there. Yeah, of course, yes. Any more answers, please? I'm waiting. And Kashif, I'll get back to your answer in a moment. This is actually the second stage where we define revenue incomes and income streams. I'll get back to you on this in a couple of minutes. Can we have some more answers, please? I'm waiting. Why will he'll not grow his business? No customers. Raman says no customers. Exactly. Why will anyone go to a barber when they don't have hair? Bald people does not need hairdresser. Exactly. They don't need a hairdresser. That's this meeting is going to end in 10 minutes. Mohit, can we do anything about this?
We need to rejoin the meeting again after the meeting get
Okay,
exit.
okay. For all of the participants here, we have over 38 participants. I request you, if the meeting, there are still 9 minutes left. If the meeting goes over, let's just join back using the same link. Okay, so where I was, bald people does not need hairdresser. Exactly. So that's why the third point that I have quoted is to test the waters. You need to test the waters before you go into the business. Testing the waters means you need to test your target audience if there is actual market validation for your product or your service. There are two types of startups: product based or service based. Product is if you are manufacturing some products, like if you are manufacturing mobile devices, then this is a product. And for example, Facebook is an online social media company. Then this is a service, like we are using Zoom right now. This is a service. Like this is a watch, and this is a product. This is a pen, this is a product. So uh, you need to test the waters before you go into the market, because whenever you go into a market, you invest something, you invest your time, you invest your money, or you have your investors invested, and you go into the market. But then you don't want your product to fail just because the market doesn't require that. That's what market validation. Someone is trying to oh, that's why market validation is necessary. You need to validate your market before you go into the market. See, uh, speaking from my experience, why I chose to run an e-commerce when there are Hello, am I audible? I guess there was some connection issue. I got disconnected. Oh, yes. Okay. Can you see me, guys? Okay. So I was there. I was at the point where I was telling you to we need to test the waters. Yes. Before you go into the market, you need to check if your product is required is required in the market or not. You don't want your product to be just sitting on shelves and nobody buying it or nobody using the service, your service. Okay. So then after you test the waters and you see that yes, of course your product is required by the market, and your product is requiring. There are some people trying to join late. Okay. And when you just validate your market and you see that there is some demand for your product or your service, then it is the perfect time to build your business plan. So point number 4, you need a business plan. What is a business plan? It's nothing. It's not a bunch of papers or not something like that. It's just an outline. How will you perform your business? What will be your revenue streams? What will be your income streams? How much profit are you going to make with first, say, let's say 1,000 customers or 1,000 users? How much profit revenue are you going to make with first 1,000 customers or first 1,000 users? So to build a business plan, what you need to do is, it's nothing major. You just need to outline first things. First, you need to see what are your expenditures, like where are you spending. For example, if you are running a service, then you will need to have some servers running, and servers cost you, and you need to buy domains, or you need to buy all the technical stuff. Okay. Or maybe you might want to have some developers or engineers at your technical background. So you need to write those expenditures, like all of them. If you are acquiring an office, then you need to mention out the office rent. You are using an internet connection, then you need to keep in mind your internet bill. So these are your expenditures. Okay. Then after that, you need to see how much revenue I am generating from my users, and then how much expenditure is going out from that revenue that's being generated. And the left amount is your profit, like how much profit is your company or your startup making in 1 month, in 15 days, in 3 months, in 6 months, in 9 months, and in a year. So this is how it goes. Business plays business plan plays an important role when you pitch your idea to an investor or a venture capitalist or any angel investor. How does it make that? Because when you have a business plan that is crisp and that is ready, it's the investors, they just they see the potential. The investors actually don't want your idea. They don't care about your idea. They don't want to invest in your idea. They just want to make profit. They are interested in profit. They want to see how positive you are with your profit. Yeah, how positive you are with your profit. See, when you show them rough figures on a piece of paper, they might not like it, but when you show them your formally crafted business plan, they will definitely like it. And no matter you succeed or you fail, but still you got the business plan. We have step number 5, and it's the most important step that I have in my experience that I have learned. You need to surround yourself with right people. See, while you are into entrepreneurship, you will make mistakes, and you will make mistakes that you will regret your whole life. Mark my word. Take this. You can write this down. You will make mistakes, and you will learn from them, of course, and you will also regret them for your whole life. This is the main point. Surround yourself with right people. So when I was at my beginning, when I was starting my entrepreneurship, and this is like a common trait, you will will trust your friends, relatives, family, or your cousins. So of course, they are your first preference for your hiring or for your any help or any recruitment. So when you trust a friend and your friend or your family betrays you, that's a major blow on your back. From my experience, I trusted some of my friends and from my some my relatives. I don't want to point them